Last week's episode, we talked about, or lesson, we talked about our foot position, hand position, head position, body positioning, our weight distribution, and why we do all these things. Today, I want to get a little bit deeper into foot movement, particularly talking about moving forward, okay, moving backwards, moving to the side, and moving to the other side. Okay, so moving on from what we learned last time, which is our feet are not in a line. They're staggered a bit. A line passes through my feet, and my feet are not side by side, right? If you remember from last time, we got the 45s on the squares. So when we are moving, what I want to do is I do not want to cross my feet. So if this is my original stance, wherever I move, I want to go back to the stance. What it means is if I take 2 steps forward, or if I take a step left with my left foot and I take a step with my right foot, I'm back into my original stance, which I was in, okay? If from here I take a step with my back foot, how do I get back to my original stance? I got to bring back my front foot, and now I'm in my original stance. If I step to the left and I want to go back to my original stance, what's that going to look like? My right foot's going to follow. If I want to take a step to the right, my right foot goes and now my left foot follows, okay? That's the most basic way of movement, is think that you're a chess piece. So with chess, say the queen has its shape. I move it around the board. The queen moves around the board, but it never changes shape, if that makes sense, okay? The knight or the horse, you could move it all around the board. It won't change the image of the horse. So this is my image when I start boxing. I could move around the chessboard, but I'm staying in my same position. So I moved up, okay? And if I moved up, my left foot moved first. Now the only way to go back to my original position is to bring my right foot back. And I could do this for 10 steps or 1 step. So I could move up. If I want to move back, my right foot moved back. My left foot has to go back into position. Now I'm in my original stance. And it continues, okay? Same thing if I'm moving left. I'll start over here so you guys could see me take a couple of steps. I start with my left foot. My right foot comes, but my right foot, so if I step with my left foot, my right foot isn't going to go behind my left foot, because that's not the way I started my stance. My stance started where there was space between them. So if I take a step with my left, my right foot takes a small step. Now I'm back in position and there's a line. And I could keep doing this, okay? Moving to the right, same idea. If I move to the right, my left foot isn't going to take a bigger step, because then I'm not in my original stance. If I take a step with the right, step with the left is small, and I'm still able to stop and throw my punches, okay? Now, there are more advanced, okay, before that, let me tell you about something. If I'm moving forward or left, okay, my lead foot is gonna lead me. If I move backwards or to the right, my right foot is gonna lead me. What that means is, if I move up, my left foot moves first, my right foot catches up. Moving left is the same idea. My left foot, right, left, right, okay? Now, if I move to back, my right foot moves first. And if I move to the right, my right foot moves first. If you're southpaw, same idea. If you're southpaw, to move up or to your right is your right foot moves first. If you move left or you move back, it's your left foot first. Hope that makes sense. There are more advanced ways, which I was trying to get to, is if I'm moving up, this is called loading up the back foot, loading up the back foot. So what that is instead of moving my left foot first, bringing up my right foot, I want to sneak up my feet so you don't see me moving up. What I do is I bring my right foot up. Now, remember how we want to go back to original stance? So I brought my right foot up. Now the way I go back to my stance is to bring up my left foot. Right, left, right, left. Sorry, sorry guys. So, right, left, okay? This is called loading up the back foot. This is when someone's a little bit far away. Instead of me going big step with the left, I load up my back foot with my weight on here, and I explode with my left foot, okay? Now, I want to teach you moving, not just the basic way, but bouncing. So what does bouncing mean? We talked about this in last week's episode, which was why we keep our left foot ahead of us or lead foot ahead of us, and why we keep our right foot or back foot underneath us. And that's because we want to be able to move this quick, okay? So you kind of get the idea of why we're doing that. So now, see? Now this is the bounce at its very simplistic form. So I'm doing is, imagine there's a line. I'm putting weight on my back foot, and all I'm doing is step in, step back, step in, step back. I'm not taking a big step. I'm not really lifting my feet up. Like I said last time, you only lift your feet up just to get a piece of paper from underneath. So if you could see my feet, I hope you could see my feet. All I'm doing is just barely getting over and back of the line. My weight is not going forward and backwards with each step. My weight is staying on my back foot, and all I'm doing is just stepping. But now you see my back foot is solid to the ground, so I'm not really, it doesn't look like you would see fighters doing a video. So now what we're gonna add is the back foot. You're gonna step up and down. Okay, just think up and down like a gas pedal. This foot goes in and out, in and out. So at the same time, this foot that it's moving in and out, this foot is going to be going up and down, up and down. And remember, when I show you something in boxing, I'm exaggerating the movement, so we're not really moving it like this. It's just going to be a little bounce, and it's almost like I'm bouncing on my back foot. But both feet are not jumping in and out together, and I'm not jumping with both feet at the same time. One goes in and out, and one goes up and down. Okay? Then I can move. So I'm moving, I stop, this foot comes back. Now I gotta go back to my original stance. I push this one, now I'm back here. I'm doing this and I wanna move up. Okay? I stop for a split second, this foot shoots up, this one shoots up, this one shoots up, this one shoots up. When you're doing it fast, it doesn't really show, but that's what's happening. And then I'm bouncing in my place. Okay? So, something for the amateurs, something to get your footwork. See, I'm already out of breath. If I told you that we had to do this for around an hour before we even threw a punch in boxing training, you'd think I was lying, but I wasn't. We'd have to do this for at least 45 minutes to an hour. And it gets your muscle memory so good, you stop even thinking about it when you're moving, okay? So, that's called bouncing. You could bounce. Bouncing is bouncing in your place, but you could also bounce and move forward, bounce and move back, okay? So, to move up, the lead foot takes care of us. To move left, the lead foot moves first. To move back, the back foot moves first. And to move to the right, the back foot moves first. The most important thing about footwork is going back to original stance. Now, I've talked about this for the whole episode, but I'm going to show you another example of what I mean. So, say this is my stance. I could fight, okay? I take a step here. Now I take a step like this. Now I'm fighting like this, okay? This is not my original stance that I started with. This was my original stance that I started with, okay? So that's why when I move, and this is the other reason, is when I practice punching from here, it becomes automatic how I punch with my feet like this, right? If I'm standing in any different way and I'm a beginner, like this, I don't understand how to throw my punches now because I'm not used to this, okay? So, and for defense, so if I'm used to defending punches in this stance, now I'm standing like this, I can't defend because this isn't my natural stance. So every fighter has to develop a stance which is they're comfortable defending from, punching from, moving from, and that should be your main stance. Now you see more advanced fighters, they could move like this sometimes and still defend because they've been through boxing and they know all that stuff. But for you as a beginner, you should have one stance that you could defend from, you could punch from, you could move from. See, wherever I move, I'm staying in my original stance. Even though I'm moving around on the chessboard, I'm not changing my shape. That's going to help you a lot. What happens is, say someone goes to hit the bag and they've practiced this the whole time, but now they're standing like this and hitting the bag, okay? And now they forget what their jab is or what their other hand is or whatever is going on, okay? If you're beginning in boxing, you want to find your stance and stick with it as long as you can until I show you other things or your coach shows you other things, okay? So we talked about the in and out. We talked about bringing the back foot up first. We talked about which foot to move if you're going any which way. Now with slipping and pivoting, I'm going to hold off on those for a bit because I need to show you how to slip before I can show you how to pivot, because a pivot is basically a slip and a step at the same time, and then you're just fixing it up. So I'll show you guys a little preview. So I'm here. What I have to do to pivot there is I gotta bring my right shoulder down, which is my slip. So I'm slipping the punch, okay? And then I pivot, now I'm back in my position. But if I just pivot with my head like this, it works, but it's not very good because I could get caught while I'm pivoting. So that's something I have to wait maybe a couple more weeks till I show you. So even if I pivot to the inside, I gotta drop this shoulder so the punch goes over my back, and then I pivot, okay? I can't just go, it look too robotic and you're too easy to hit, okay? I will show you this though, side to side movement. So I talked about this positioning from last week, which is side to side. Now you see fighters when they're against the ropes, imagine this is the ropes, you see them moving side to side, right? They're not in their stance anymore, they're moving side to side. And why do you do that? Okay, to get away from someone, okay? If I'm in this position and I'm against the ropes, okay, the first thing is I want to create space for myself. So if someone is standing right in front of me and this is my position, if I'm trying to move like this, well, I'm this close to them hitting me. What I could do is I bring my lead foot back, okay? Now there's space between me and the other person. Now I can move. After I'm done moving, I go back to my boxing stance. I don't really punch from this position. This position is just a movement position. And then when you want to punch and actually sit down again, you go back into your stance. But it's the same idea as moving backwards and forward. Both my feet are aimed straight. They're not like this. They're not like this, okay? Second thing, I do not let my feet touch, okay? So this is something I missed on pointing out when I was showing you this, okay? The reason you don't want to jump in with both feet is because you can't be off the ground at the same time with both feet. Because if I do get hit, I'm going to fall. And I actually saw this happen in a fight that I could show you guys. So yeah, okay? So same thing with moving. If I'm moving like this, if I get hit at this moment or when I'm in the air and I get hit, I don't have any support on the ground. So I always I'm moving one foot at a time. It looks like both feet are jumping, but it's really one. You're shuffling. This is the basic movement. I'm keeping space between my feet. I'm not jumping off the ground, just enough where my foot isn't dragging. Now, the last step of this movement is the most important, and this is how you change direction. If I'm moving left, so I'm moving, I want to change direction to the right. Watch my left foot. See, I put it out. Now I'm going to use that energy from my left foot to push me back in, and that's going to kick my right foot. This is how you change direction. Your last step, you use it to spring you back, okay? Now you might think, why don't I use that when I'm in my boxing stance? Well, that's exactly what you do in your boxing stance. If I'm moving quick, I use my last step to shoot me back. Okay, I hit the wall here. I'll show you. I'm moving back. My right foot goes out a little bit more. I put my weight on it, and then it springs me back. Okay, so that's another part of moving fast, is that last step before you change direction is going to be a little bit more out, and it's going to help you bounce back. Okay, now this works really good, not from just changing direction, but from feinting. So what a feint is, I make it look like I'm switching direction, but I go left. I make it look like I'm going back, or I feint with my left foot. I could either here, I could move up if you give me space, or if I feint, I could bring back and get out. Okay, so a feint is really good with your footwork because it gives you options of what to do. I'm not just committing to moving forward. I'm testing the waters. I step, I see what you do. If you're scared of me, I come up. If you're not, I step up. Okay? Now, because I'm not able to show you the whole space on the camera while I move, I'm going to show you how to switch from this position to this position. Okay? It looks it might sound very difficult, but it's actually really simple. So I'm moving. I want to fight. Easy. Okay? How do I reverse that? Left foot comes back, or lead foot, I'm sideways. Okay? So think of an L. So there's an L. My right foot, my back foot from here, it goes in. My lead foot goes out. Do you see how I drew an L? Now reverse it to go from this stance to my side to side stance. My lead foot comes back and my right foot goes out. So if I'm moving like this, so I'm boxing, I'm moving, boom. Now I could punch, now I want to get out. So that's kind of like the L step, which is another move I'm going to show you now. To move to the right or to square up again, which is this stance, you could use something called an L step, and that's what we did. Basically an L step is the lead foot comes back and the back foot moves out. Now if I'm gonna just move to the side but stay in my stance, I'll do that slow again. So this foot comes back, this foot stepped. Now this foot is just gonna carry on to go back to my original position like I told you in the beginning of the video. Now I'm here, okay? Again, okay? This is if I wanna just move to the side and use the L step. Now, if I wanna use the L step to go sideways or square up so I can move side by side, same L step, but I didn't step again with it to get in my original stance. I went the other way. Okay guys, so I'm thinking what I was gonna show you next week was gonna be pivoting and the cool stuff about footwork, which is like pivoting, inside pivot, outside pivot. What I'm thinking is next week I'll show you guys some slips and defense. I'll get you guys into that. So that way in the next time I could teach you guys the slips and all that stuff. Now, again, if you're watching this and you're like, oh, this guy only talked about this for 10 seconds or that for 10 seconds, you could ask me and then I could go into more detail of what you have questions for. But that's the whole point of the first two lessons is you learn positioning and how to move. Remember, positioning is knowing your position, the one you're gonna fight from. Moving is moving around the chessboard, but staying in that position. Don't change how you look for now. So I'm not moving to the right and then looking like this. If this is my stance, I'm moving to the right and I'm looking like this. That way I don't have to think about where my feet are and I could punch and defend without having to overthink and readjust. Another tip for footwork is if you feel off balance and you feel like you can't really, you have to keep adjusting your feet. This is something else, sorry guys. So if I'm moving 1, 2, done. What a lot of beginners do is they'll go 1, 2, 1 to readjust so they feel balanced. And that is wrong. When you move, you want the least amount of steps to move. So, done. I'm not fidgeting with my feet trying to fix my position. Now this is gonna be hard in the beginning because you still don't know what it feels like to be really unbalanced. What I recommend sometimes is if you have an open space and you don't have anything dangerous around you, is you close your eyes, okay? I step, and just feel your balance, okay? You don't have to look at your feet and keep adjusting. Feel your balance. Feel your balance. Feel it. Feel it. Okay, you feel stuff a lot more than you see sometimes, especially if you're learning a new skill. So that's the other thing. And again, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next Monday. Take care.